wandering on the beach. The ocean sprays, the birds speak. We look inside and rise in peace, eyes open to realize hope as we walk in beauty wherever the path leads. Creator is guiding me on this journey. That's all I need. Warmth beneath my feet as I look into the skies. Tears fill my eyes, and love fills my mind. The drum sounding so astounding, heart pounding with relief. Ears open to catch the lessons, 5 fingers counting my blessings. I believe with time and effort, we can achieve.
Good morning, everybody. It's Dan, the Mushroom Man. How are you guys doing today? This is a beautiful day to talk about happiness. That's what we're going to be talking about. Thank you guys all for joining me. And let's get a little background music. And what's going on, Allison, Lisa, Shauna, Rasta, what's going on? How are you doing? Thank you for the tag. And today we are going to do something a little different. We're going to be talking about happiness. So either make a comment about what makes you happy today, or share it out, and you'll be entered into another. We're going to do another giveaway for those people who do that. So I'm going to put that at the bottom. It's a banner. What makes you happy? Please share that in the comments. And if you do share it out, please press share as well, or write share in the comments so that I know to put you in that. And we'll have a little giveaway here at the end of the thing. So thank you guys for joining me again. Please hit that like, share, reaction button as well. And thank you guys for joining me. Today, happiness is a very subjective subject. So what makes one person happy does not make another person happy. And that's the very interesting thing about what we're going to talk about today. And we're going to talk about the happiest place on the planet right now, which is Finland, and how they actually are happy. Their society is built way differently than ours. And most of the time when the happiest nation in the world, their society is built way different than ours. Now, the United States is ranked number 23rd in the new ranking of happiness. We used to be ranked 17th. I'm actually surprised that we're not worse, to tell you the truth. There are just a lot of unhappy people in our country, and it's clear to pretty much see that every single day. But we can change that. Happiness, like I said, is a subjective thing. It's not the same for everybody. Thank you, Lisa. Appreciate it. Let me see if I remember to put you in these as I go along. So I'll put you in this giveaway. I have a wheel spin here. Thank you for sharing. That would be. Make sure I name it. All right. We'll do the good old wheel of names here at the end. Whoever wants to share out, like I said, just put shared or put a comment in there and tell me what makes you happy. That's really what I'm interested in today. What makes you happy? What keeps you happy? And need to share out to some more groups here. Please tag some more people in as well. That's awesome. And you know what? Speaking of gratitude, gratitude is actually the very foundation of happiness, which we'll talk about today as well. Why that is. When you are grateful for the things that you have in your life, you are more likely to be a lot more happier. And that's science. When you are not grateful, when you look at all the half glass empty kind of mentality, you tend to be not as happy, and that's proven. Thank you very much, Allison. Let me put Rasta and Allison. Thank you. We'll do a regular giveaway. Why not? We'll do feeling very grateful for my life, so we'll do another hashtag giveaway. If I can get that up here. We're just going to do a hashtag happiness. I'm not really sure what the prize will be, but it'll be something nice. Did I spell that right? I always forget sometimes happiness has one end or two ends in it. It has one end. All right, let's start collecting those. There we go. All right, Ross, so you can always give it to somebody too as a gift if you win again. Thank you very much. And again, you can only enter once, so I thank you, Allison, for sharing and writing your comment. Maybe I should do it twice. Yeah, why not? If you share it, we'll put you in twice. Never didn't write any rules. So Allison, thank you for sharing and writing a comment. Put you in twice. Lisa Robinson, thank you for joining me today. I appreciate it. Shauna Parker, much appreciated. Hey, Rochelle, how you doing? Tommy, what's going on? Deborah, thank you. Rochelle, hope you're doing well. I was just reading some things about New Zealand yesterday. I don't remember what it was. But... Whoa. My mouse went crazy there for a second. Yeah. Whose anniversary is it again? Did I miss somebody say? Lisa Robbins. Oh, it was your and your husband's anniversary. Not really sure, but my mouse quit working there. The left tick. I don't understand what's going on, but I can't press the left side of the mouse. Oh, I missed that part. My husband made 13 years. Awesome, Lisa. Appreciate you joining me in your 13th anniversary. Is it today? Today is your 13th year, or is it this week? Either way, happy anniversary. What's going on, Illinois Bud lovers? Thank you for joining me. Thanks for tagging your followers. Again, we have another giveaway too besides the hashtag. Please share or comment about what makes you happy, and we'll put you in that giveaway. I hope I don't miss anybody who shared. I got all of them in there. But we got a great YouTube video to share today. It's literally 7 minutes long, and I think it really hits every single point of happiness. I think you can't really get more information in this 7-minute video. And it's one of them Think Big videos. I'm not sure if you guys know what the Think Big are, but they're basically kind of mind-expanding videos written by a channel called Think Big. They really make some really, really great videos. And play that commercial from it. It's today. Awesome. Congratulations, Lisa. 13 years is a long time in today's world to stay married. Not easy. Wife and kids make you happy, man. That's all that matters. Sometimes the simple things in life, like just two people, well, your kids and your wife, keep you very happy. Thank you for sharing that. I don't have any kids. Well, I do have kids, but she's not a kid anymore. She is 23 years old now, so I do have a kid, but she lives on the other side of Missouri, 6 hours away. I don't have a wife. I've never been married, so like I said, what makes everybody happy is very different in today's world. Honestly, just living makes me happy, I guess. I'm still trying to find that happiness. But relationships make me happy. Having seen people succeed at life makes me happy. But as we all say, finding happiness is a journey. It is the pursuit of happiness, and it is a lifelong journey to not only obtain it, but to keep it. And we're not always going to be happy. That's why life teaches us that happiness is a very good thing, because bad things happen. Bad things are going to happen. And they're going to continue to happen in our lives no matter what we try to do to control that. And we have to make sure that those bad things turn into something that can be a positive thing. And that this video is kind of going to talk about that, about how, life could be awful. I mean, it is every single day for a lot of us, but we have to find that positive half glass full kind of mentality to succeed in life, to be happy in life. That's a long time. 22 years married for 19. For a minute, I thought that said you had 19 children. I was like, oh my gosh. Hey, what's going on, Ken? How are you doing? Good morning. John Doe, the question is, what makes you happy? John Doe, you are such a mystery that I'm not really sure what makes you happy. But anybody who wants to answer that question, you'll be entered into a prize. Please share your comment for what makes you happy, or share to a page or yourself. So thank you very much, guys, for joining me. We got 10 people in the house. We're trying to share out more to get new people in. I'd love to have more new people in to teach about mental health. We have some very, very good subjects coming up in the next 2 weeks. We have Rasta and Joshua White joining us from, both of them are actually admins over at the marijuana maintenance program. And they're both going to be joining us next week to talk about addiction. And addiction is something that literally, affects all of us. Pizza makes you happy. That's a good enough answer for me. I'm gonna put you in there. Put you in that. Pizza makes you happy, man, and I'm happy for you. Yeah, and that is one of the foundations, the very foundations of happiness, is having a social network. And that's why all these countries that have happiness that is just throughout their society, they have social networks. They have created a society based on social interactions. They also do not work more than 8 hours a day. They also get 9 months to a year off for maternity leave. These are the big differences between the United States and other countries where they are the number one, happiest country. And I really, really think that right there, that 9 months to 1 year that a mother gets off to bond with her child is probably the big difference, in my opinion. Kids who have proper bonding with their mother always tend to be happier children, and always end up, most of the time, according to research, happier adults. And I really think that is so important in a society, to have that bonding between a mother and a son, to have a happy society. Deborah, I'll put you in there. Thank you for answering that question. Got too many windows open here. Let me close a few windows. There you go. All right, lost my screen. Deborah D, putting you in there. Every day is a blessing, that's for sure, Joe. Thanks for answering the question. Joe, I'm glad that makes you happy. And you are right. Waking up every day is a bonus. And it's a bonus to even watch your kids grow up. Singing makes me happy. Interesting. Why did Rochelle? I can just put Rochelle on that. I think you're the only Rochelle that comes into the stream. Happiness is waking up. Music makes you happy. At least that is the truth. Alrighty. I think we got all caught up. I need to listen to the video. For some reason I get too busy and I have not listened to Rochelle's video of her singing yet. But let's put this hashtag down here at the bottom. There we go. And we can play that video. Well, my laptop has been acting weird the last few days. I hope it's not on its last life. All right, there it is. And I will share in that video. Oh, I lost it. Well, that's weird. Oh, there it is. I was like, I don't see that on my screen. The same thing you guys figured it out. And again, this is it's called Don't Chase Happiness, Become Anti-Fragile. It's a very interesting video about how to actually, what happiness is, how to find it. And he goes through this list that I've actually never heard of. That it made me learn a lot about what happiness is, this video. So we'll watch this and I'll kind of stop it along the way and talk about it. And it's very intriguing. Turn down that music for you. I like finding these videos that really just go deep into explain stuff that we just don't know a lot about, including myself, the science of what makes people happy.
There are only two kinds of people who do not experience painful emotions. The first kind are the psychopaths. The second kind are dead. There is a false understanding or expectation that a happy life means being happy all the time. No, learning to accept and even embrace painful emotions is an important part of a happy life, and the study of painful emotions is an important part of the field of happiness studies.
Did you hear that? I mean, painful emotions come with life, but they are literally, when they research this stuff, it is one of the foundations of happiness. People who can process the bad things happening to them better than the next person tend to be a lot more happier.
My name is Tal Ben Shahar. I'm a student and teacher in the field of happiness studies, and my most recent book is Happier No Matter What.
Pursuing happiness through hardship.
There is a very important concept that was introduced by Nassim Taleb, and that is anti-fragility. Anti-fragility is essentially resilience 2.0. Resilience 1.0 is when we put pressure on a system. After the pressure is lifted, that system goes back to its original form. Anti-fragility takes this idea a step further. You put pressure on a system, it actually grows bigger, stronger. We see anti-fragile systems all around us and within us. For example, our muscular system. We go to the gym and we lift weights. We're putting pressure on our muscles. What happens as a result? We actually grow stronger. We're an anti-fragile system. On the psychological level, you know what that's called? PTG, post-traumatic growth.
Who's ever heard of that term? This is the first time I've in my life, 41 years, heard this term used, and it's called post-traumatic growth. It's the opposite of post-traumatic stress. It is on the other side of the field where you actually become stronger because of a traumatic event. And I never heard of this. That's why I teach these. That's why I have these podcasts, so I can learn myself. And it's very intriguing to go down and talk about this, how, post-traumatic growth.
So where post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, is about breaking down, post-traumatic growth is about growing stronger. As a result of pressure, stress, it's anti-fragility. The role of the science of happiness is to teach us what conditions we can put in place to increase the likelihood of growing from hardship. Now, there is a paradox when it comes to pursuing happiness. On the one hand, we know that happiness is a good thing, whether in and of itself or as a means toward other ends. At the same time, we also know from research by Iris Moss and others that people who say to themselves, happiness is important for me, I want to pursue it, those individuals actually end up being less happy. In fact, they're more likely to experience depression. So the paradox is that on the one hand, happiness is clearly a good thing. On the other hand, valuing it as a good thing is problematic. So
how many people have actually seen that with other people when the pursuit of happiness is not a good thing? You do not want to pursue happiness. You want happiness to come to you. You want to build this life where you attract happiness. And I find that very intriguing. And I think we find that too in people with relationships, people who just, that's their number one goal in life, is to find a relationship, end up usually being in miserable relationships. It's when they put that down and they actually let the relationship come to them, that they're actually healthier relationships. And I find that always intriguing to people who are always like trying to find a boyfriend or a girlfriend. That's like they're on their mind all the time, and how they always find miserable relationships because of that, because they don't see the red flags as clearly because they're looking so hard for it.
What do we do? The way to resolve this paradox is that we pursue happiness indirectly. Think about sunlight. So if I look at the sun directly, it's going to hurt my eyes. However, if I break down sunlight into its elements, into its constituents, I can look at the colors of the rainbow. So I'm indirectly looking at the sunlight, enjoying it, savoring it. In the same way, pursuing happiness directly can cause more harm than good, but breaking it down into its elements can lead us to enjoy the indirect pursuit of happiness, and by extension, to raise our overall levels of happiness.
Nailed it.
What are the metaphorical colors of the rainbow when it comes to happiness?
This is interesting.
Here we have what I've come to call the SPIRE model, and it can trigger the anti-fragile system.
Rasta, have you ever heard of the SPIRE system? I have never heard of this, but he's about to explain. Anybody else ever heard of it? It's an acronym for happiness, and I think we could all use this acronym.
SPIRE is an acronym that stands for spiritual, physical, intellectual, relational, and finally emotional well-being.
Those 5 things right there literally make up what makes us happy. That is literally the very foundation: our spirit, our physical, our intellectual, relationship, emotional. And that's another reason why Western medicine has failed us, because they do not put that top thing right there. Spiritual is not accepted in Western medicine. They do not, it's not something they take into account. And the same with the bottom one, the emotional. And that's why I think it's so important to learn outside of Western medicine these acronyms that I never would have heard. My doctor doesn't tell me these things. We have to learn these on our own. And I think it's an interesting approach to finding happiness.
Spirituality is about finding a sense of meaning and purpose in life, at work and at home. If you wake up in the morning with a purpose, you're more likely to overcome barriers. When it comes to physical well-being,
and that's why I didn't even understand that 5 years ago when I was miserable myself, that the spirit is literally, your spirit is probably the number one thing to find happiness, find that meaning in life. And I didn't know that then. And just knowing that my spirit, that my beliefs, what I think of this world, what I feel like happens when you die, or how you live, and my purpose here is very important. More important than all the other things. And now that I realize that, I'm finding my own happiness.
Important idea to look at is stress, the silent killer. In the United States, more than half of the employees do not use up their vacation time. And even those that do, close to half are still tethered to their work. The problem.
I had a conversation about my boss about this probably a week ago, and I told him I was making these really stupid mistakes back in December when we were at the end of our season, and I told him, well, I didn't realize that I was burned out. I didn't realize my mind was burned out until I actually went on vacation came back and then saw what it did. And I think that's really important to understand, that you have to back away from your normal life. You have to find that balance between your work life and your personal life, and you have to totally back off of it to truly find happiness. And I tell my boss that too. I'm like, there has to be a day where you just can't message me. I have to back off and get out of the roofing thing for a whole 24 hours so that I can be happy. And I think that's important to remember in our lives, and to set those boundaries up with maybe our bosses, like who try to text you on the weekend. Tell them that part of your happiness is having that 24 hours, not being bothered.
The problem is not the stress, it's the lack of recovery. With intellectual well-being, there's research showing that people who are curious, who ask questions, are not just happier, they also live longer. Another important element is not just asking questions, it's deeply engaging with material. It can be text, a work of art, even nature. Relational well-being is very important.
There's that finding something to totally focus on, whether it be singing, like Rochelle said, finding a hobby that you can totally just put your phone down and totally just focus in on it, and that's all you're doing, is apparently very important to finding happiness. Obviously, mine is mushrooms. I'm infatuated with mushrooms. There's a lot of other things that I do in my life that I'm infatuated with, but that is very intriguing, that finding a hobby that you love and focusing in on it is one of the important steps to finding happiness.
One predictor of happiness is quality time we spend with people we care about and who care about us. It turns out the number one condition that we can put in place to increase the likelihood of anti-fragility, of growing through hardship, is the quality of our relationships. Finally, emotional well-being.
We talked about that last week too, when we were talking about trauma, how social interactions, whether somebody has a traumatic event that plays a role on their whole life, or one that just doesn't, that they roll off their back after the traumatic event, is based on your society, your social interactions. Again, showing how important that is to have friends, to have that social basis of social interactions, and how important that is. And I keep seeing it in people who are mentally ill, that they do not want to leave their houses. They're literally burying their hole deeper into that depression because they're not socially interacting. Socially interacting is a way to get out of that hole, and it's hard to do because you're in that vicious circle.
Painful emotions is critical, but how do we then cultivate pleasurable ones? Specifically, the emotion of gratitude. Cicero talked about gratitude as the mother of all virtues.
The mother of all virtues.
When we appreciate the good in our life, we have more of it. So happiness is much more than pleasure. Happiness is whole being. These 5 elements together create that sunlight.
Remember.
I don't think there is a point before which one is unhappy, after which one is happy. Rather, happiness resides on a continuum. It's a lifelong journey. And knowing that, we can have realistic rather than unrealistic expectations about what is possible. I do not think that things necessarily happen for the best. However, we can learn to make the best of things that happen.
That's the truth. And we have to remember that life is not easy. Life is not going to be easy. Finding happiness is not easy. Because in the middle of that happiness, bad things are going to continue to happen in your life. And that's hard. So hard to exit that, to overcome, But guys, thank you guys for joining me and sticking through that video and learning about a little bit about that, because there's a lot of stuff in there that I didn't know about myself. So hopefully that helped, that information helped you a little bit. And please, again, if you are here, we are having a second giveaway if you share to a page, or if you write in the comments what makes you happy yourself. I really appreciate you guys stopping in here and joining in the comments. And we also have this hashtag happiness. We'll send you a nice cool prize for joining me. I guys appreciate it. Please don't forget to hit that share, that like button as well. There are a lot of people who do watch this afterwards, and it helps get it out there. But honestly, my own happiness, I've actually had to think about what makes me happy. It's still very difficult for me to answer. I'm a lot happier than I was 5 years ago. I was actually depressed and very suicidal. But like he said, happiness is a journey. And I have my happy moments, and I have, you know, days that are not so happy. And I'm still trying to figure that all out. Traveling made me happy. That this past winter when I was traveling and doing it even by myself, truly was a happy moment for me. The horses, awesome. Your horses make you happy. Let me put you in here in that giveaway here for answering. Appreciate you guys answering it. Trying to make sure that I get your initials in there so I remember who it is in case we have a couple of the same names in here. Well, let's oh, it's World Bipolar. Hey, Ernest, I didn't know that, and I even have bipolar. Well, I did not know that. Thank you for reminding me, Elizabeth. Yep, happiness is a journey, not a destination, and that's always important to remember, because bad things happen. And even there's that post that I have pinned to the top of my personal page about the worst day of your life being the most. How did I say it? The most defining moment of your life is usually the worst day of your life. And I explained about how that was the worst day of my life and how it taught me so much. And I really think that sometimes the worst day of our lives are the days that teach us the most about how to be happy. And I think that's important to remember. Even if bad things happen, you can still find clarity. You can still find happiness, even in the awful thing of darkness that comes with bad things. Why do I keep clicking that? But thank you guys all for joining me and talking about happiness, because it's different for everybody. And I think that the acronym to use is a very important that I'm going to put into my life now, and realize that, hey, the physical part of my body is important too. And I didn't think about that. You know, I need to do more weightlifting to find my own happiness, because apparently being that physical part and keeping your body in that top physical shape is actually part of being happy. Something I learned today. So remember that. Take care of your body too. Go lift some weights. Do a little, get that sweat going, because it's very beneficial to your happiness. And I know that there are a lot of chemicals that are released and burned off when you do work out, and I need to do that a lot more. But we got 11 people in the house. Thank you guys all for joining me. There was something else I was going to mention, but I could not remember. Well, we'll watch this other video too. This is what makes Finland the happiest place on earth. And there's a program apparently that you can apply to, and I'll have to find the link, but anybody is allowed to apply to it, and it's they pay for you to come to Finland. And I saw that there are people who don't get to travel a lot, people who don't have a lot of money had applied to this program and got a free trip to Finland. And the trip is you basically spend 5 days there, and they teach you how to be happy. They have like these classes or seminars with people. So we'll play this video because it's very intriguing. It's just a news story, kind of explaining it. Hey, Susan, how you doing? Thanks for joining me. I'm trying to figure out how to present that video. There we go. play this video real quick for you guys.
The World Happiness Report, and once again, Finland has come in the number one spot. This year, the country is sharing its secrets, launching a program to spread happiness hacks all over the world. Our foreign correspondent, James.
I want to go to Finland. Wouldn't you just want to go there just to figure out like the difference between our society and theirs, and like what is truly making these people so happy? And I'd love to go there just to see that.
James Longman has the details. James, good morning.
Good morning, Whit. Well, what makes you happy? For me, it's being down by the river here in London on this gloriously beautiful day, just enjoying the good weather. Plenty of other Londoners doing the same thing. I can see some fish and chips over there. I'm sure in the States you've got ways to keep your mood up. But the happiest country on earth, Finland, and they are sharing their happiness hacks.
This woman in here, I love this woman too.
Happiness. Finland might have the answer. The World Happiness Report, yeah, it's a thing, has named the country the happiest on earth. Now it's spreading the love, launching a program called Helsinki Happiness Hacks. People from all over the world are invited to visit to engage in their way of life, and it's completely free.
I'm a complete and total nerd that hasn't been able to travel much in his life.
For New Jersey teacher Joplin James, the program was all about seeing the world and improving himself.
I kind of fell off of taking care of me. I gained a lot of weight. I developed type 2 diabetes.
New Yorker Ginny Bartolone applied on a whim, hoping to meet new faces after disconnecting from people during the pandemic.
This experience, I hoped, and it very much has succeeded, would fulfill my belief again in people connecting.
The 5-day itinerary in the capital city of Helsinki, all alongside so-called happiness hackers.
Who's
One
the
of those
happiness
shiny,
hacker?
happy people, Lena Salmi. The 70-year-old is known around the city for her skateboard skills and says
This
she
woman right
focused
here.
on her own
Look at
happiness
that.
10
70.
years ago.
Still
What
skateboarding.
makes me happy? Rugby, skateboard, swim, just look around.
Another hacker welcoming newcomers to his home country, DJ Tapio Häkkinen, sharing his hacks, cycling, a Finnish sauna, and balance.
One thing that people are positively surprised when they come here and experience Finnish culture is our work-life balance. We work very efficiently, our 8-hour working days, but we want to make sure that there's time and room for other things in life.
The best lessons from those hackers, all surprisingly simple, like enjoy what you eat.
As a teacher,
Rasta, we've talked about this before. I think we had an episode where we said that actually slowing down and actually when you eat your food and actually think about what you're eating can actually make you happy. It's very intriguing, but science actually proves that. And I've actually experimented with it myself. When you actually eat food and you think about what you're eating, slow down. And these people say the same thing. It's mindfulness eating.
I'm always like, oh, it's my lunch. I got to hurry up and eat. I'm really going to be conscious.
That's what is the worst thing about Americans is we eat so much fast food. We don't sit down and actually think about what we eat. And I'm like, damn, maybe that's why one of the reasons we're so miserable. And it truly is. Our food does make us tend to be miserable because we are what we eat. But to actually stop and think about what you're eating, to be mindfulness
Of what
eating.
I'm putting in my body, and I'm really going to be conscious of enjoying it.
Embrace your inner child.
Have a child.
Another thing, inner child. We are having an episode in 2 weeks about inner child and emotions with Cheyenne Moore. I know you guys have seen her before. I think we're having it in 2 weeks. But inner child, there's that word again coming into play about finding happiness. I literally laughed when I saw that word come up. And it's the truth. We have to find our inner child to be happy, and then we have to make amends with our inner child, which we'll talk about 2 weeks. And I think it's very important to talk about today's society because there are a lot of angry people walking around our society. We see it in our politics. We see it on social media. And that is actually a sign of a broken inner child. It really, really is. I've dealt with my own anger issues and still continue to because my inner child is broken myself. But there's a very, very good, strong link between those two, anger and inner child. We'll talk about that in 2 weeks. But
Childlike enthusiasm for everything you're given the opportunity to try.
And nurture the relationships in your life.
You need to invest in your loved ones and tell them that you love them.
I think I'm going to come back a different person with the tools that we've learned this week.
that'd be awesome to go to.
Not such happy news for the United States, I'm afraid. You've moved from 17th to 23rd in the rankings. Apparently older people on average happier than younger generations, but it's not all bad news. You've got the happiness hacks now. You can move on up that leaderboard.
That's right. There's always next year, James.
So you're saying chance.
Yeah, we're going to move on up.
So the U.S. has moved from 17th to 23rd, and I think they do them like every 10 years because we were 17th when I looked in 2009. So it must have just happened. But I think there was I had 4 videos in here, but not that I'm going to share them all. What was this other video? These are cool commercials from YouTube.
Let's suppose that you were able every night to dream any dream you wanted to dream.
The famous Alan Watts.
And that you could, for example, have the power within one night to dream 75 years of time.
It's a very interesting perspective.
Or any length of time you wanted to have. And you would naturally, as you began on this adventure of dreams, you would fulfill all your wishes. You would have every kind of pleasure you could conceive.
What would your dream be, though?
And after several nights,
I'm not really
of
sure.
75 years of total pleasure each, you would say, well, that was pretty great. But now let's have a surprise. Let's have a dream which isn't under control. Well, something is going to happen to me that I don't know what it's going to be. And you would dig that and come out of that and say, wow, that was a close shave, wasn't it? And then you would get more and more adventurous, and you would make further and further out gambles as to what you would dream. And finally, you would dream where you are now. You would dream the dream of living the life that you are actually living today. That would be within the infinite multiplicity of choices you would have, of playing that you weren't God. So then, this means that you're not victims of a scheme of things, of a mechanical world or of an autocratic God. The life you're living is what you have put yourself into. Only you don't admit it.
I think people forget.
Because you want to play the game that it's happened to you. Because if you play life on the supposition that you're a helpless little puppet that got involved, or if you play it on the supposition that it's a frightful, serious risk and that we really ought to do something about it and so on, it's a drag.
We are our own power.
There's no point in going on living unless we make the assumption that the situation of life is optimal. And it makes you realize, you see, how great things are. So in this idea then, everybody is fundamentally the ultimate reality. Not God in a politically kingly sense, but God in the sense of being the self, the deep down basic whatever there is. And you're all that. Only you're pretending you're not.
The truth. I think we all forget that we have this power inside of us to choose happiness. We get into these miserable places in our life. We get into these loops and realize, and we forget that we are our own power. We literally can drag ourselves out of anything, and it's possible. And I think that we as humans tend to forget that we are the power of our own life. And people think that the universe is against them, but if you have that positive aspect, if you think the glass half full mentality, your life will begin to change. And I didn't understand that until a few years ago, that having that gratitude, that having that important to finding happiness. Super factual. Again, thank you guys all for joining me. Again, we're gonna have a giveaway. If anybody shares to their page or shares in the comments what makes you happy, please do. We have, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have about 13 people in that one, 13 entries. So please, if you're still welcome, please do share what makes you happy in your life. I'd love to know. And also, please hit that like, share, reaction button as well. And if you do share, please put share in the comments, and I'll put you into that giveaway as well. So thank you guys all for joining me. It's not going to be too long of an episode today because I kind of think we all know what happiness is, but I wanted to share those little aspects of what can send you over the edge to find happiness. And I think that a lot of people on here come into the podcast world to try to find that as well through social interactions. And I've actually found a lot of really good friendships through there. I Sir Stevo, Rasta, real life friendships. And I even got to meet Ted, a couple weeks ago, where I got one of Ted's cups. And everybody else I've met along the way in these 2 years, and the people that I will continue to form bonds with, like Crystal and Master Rochi. I don't know a lot about them, but I look forward to learning more about them. I've been talking to Master Rochi about being on his show and him being on mine. So there's still a lot of relationships to meet people, and I really think that this podcast world, this community, is really awesome. But don't ever forget that physical friendships, real life ones, are still important as well. So, and I think a lot of you understand that too, that, it's good to have friendships on here, but it's also more important to find friendships in real life, and ones that you can actually see physically, be around, do things with. Thank you, Susan. I appreciate you sharing. Crystal, thank you for sharing. Let me write your name down there. Happiness is key. A dog makes you happy. That's good enough for me. I used to have a dog. He made me happy too, but I unfortunately work too much. My front door just came wide open. Hold on a second. I think there was a ghost coming in. Door just flew open, and a little windy out today. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate it. Get you on there too. Joe Hart. That's a new name. I don't think I've ever seen you. Thank you for joining me, Joe. If you have joined me before and I haven't seen your name, I apologize. But has anybody ever been unhappy in their life but then realized that something changed, something bad happened, and brought them to happiness? Mine was that case. I feel like there's a lot of people in that case. My brother, who he was an addict for 13 years, and the last time he drank was the changing moment in his life. Find that happiness. I really do believe that sometimes bad things happen to us in order to find that happiness, and I think that bad things bring us that perspective. Like, what would happiness be if bad things didn't happen? If darkness didn't exist? If evil things didn't exist? Would that happiness still be something we seek? And I always think about that. Just like this flag back here, there's a light and a darkness in the tree of life, and they're both very important in the tree of life. KJ, appreciate you sharing out as well. Hopefully I didn't forget anybody's name for sharing. I don't think I did. Susan, I see you did you shared and write a comment. Let me get you there. Yeah, seasonal depression is real. We're coming out of it now. This warmer weather. And hopefully it stays around this next week. We keep getting like the 80s and the next day but down to 50s. So we need that consistent warm weather. But seasonal depression is real. And in this winter, again, my traveling, which is my happy thing, has actually led me through the winter without having a seasonal depression. My first time in 41 years, the darkness did not come. And this year taught me a lot about that, finding that happiness through the winter so we don't have seasonal depression, but it still is hard to overcome, 100%. I'm sorry to hear that, Susan. That's a horrible thing to go through in life. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate you joining me as well. We have some very interesting subjects coming up as well, like I was discussing earlier. Rasta and Joshua White will be joining me next week to talk about addiction. That is going to be an awesome show. These two guys know a lot. I have, we all deal with our own addiction things. I've gone through living with an addict with my brother who was an alcoholic. He became suicidal or homicidal when he drank. So I kind of understand it, but I've never gone through it like Joshua and Rasta. So I will definitely appreciate their perspectives on the show. And then the week after that, we have Cheyenne Moore joining us. She has her own podcast. She's kind of like a spiritual mental health. That's really where her forte is, I guess you could say. And she'll be joining us, and we're going to be talking about inner child and emotions. And my door came flying open again. Inner child and emotions. And it's cold out there. All right, it's up to Wednesday. The door stays shut. I have to keep it open and unlocked because my friend's coming back here with coffee. But I appreciate you guys joining me. These podcasts have actually gotten a lot of views afterwards, so I appreciate everybody still coming in and viewing them, learning stuff. And I hope you guys do learn something, because I do as well. I continue to do these podcasts and pick subjects that I don't know a lot about, because I want to learn too, and I want you to learn, and then to take what you learn and bring it into your life, because our doctors aren't telling us how to be happy. Our doctors aren't telling us these things about mental health that I'm trying to teach people. So I think they're very important aspects of knowledge, because knowledge is power. Think you have a visitor yet? I've lived in this house for 16 years. I've never felt a visitor or felt a ghost in this house. Never seen anything weird. Yeah, sure. There's roster right speaking of. So, like I said, we have some awesome subjects coming up. The inner child emotions in 2 weeks is going to be a great subject. Just because there's a lot of things that people don't understand about the inner child and how it actually makes us act as adults. And I'm doing my own inner child healing still, and it's a lifelong journey to heal your inner child, to find happiness. But I will find it. Gotta find my giveaway notebook so I write down these names. The notebook just for giveaways. So this one is we are at episode 4 already, aren't we? It feels like I just started this podcast and we're already at episode 4. Well, let's give away this happiness. Anybody else want to get in the hashtag happiness, please do. And again, this is going to be a random prize, but I'm sure you'll like it. It could be a crystal. It could be something else. And this is going to be the hashtag happiness giveaway. I also forgot to mention, you know what else makes me happy? It's coffee. I absolutely love coffee. There's that Edibles cup. That's awesome that you choose to be happy. That's the hardest thing to live through, is losing your child. And I have the people that I stayed with in Pittsburgh this past winter, my friends, they lost a child as well, and that's actually how I became friends with them. Was the loss of their child. I didn't know them before that, but I knew their daughter who had passed away, and it really mended a friendship. I'm really, really close to her mother, so I totally understand, that pain, because I see it in her mother and I see it in her father, and it's awful to see. I'm sorry you went through that, Susan. Oh, for sure. Getting there. Not in that better place totally yet, but there are still, which we'll talk about someday, that my ego still holds on to me. It creates fear, and I'm still trying to overcome that. Eventually you will. Honestly, I think that I'm at a point too where I might quit cannabis. I know there's a lot of other people in the community who've quit recently to find happiness, and I really think I'm at that point where I'm ready to let go of it. I'll still be definitely in the community. I promote cannabis like no other, but sometimes you have to let go of it in order to get your brain right and my body, which coughing has not helped. Coughing has actually led to a rib injury that I have, and it only goes away when I quit smoking cannabis. There's a rib that goes straight across my chest, comes around my back, and I totally think is related to smoking cannabis from coughing. And I quit for 40 days about 4 months ago, and that feeling, right, the rib that goes straight across your heart, so it feels really weird sometimes when it moves around. But yeah, I feel like I'm at that point now where I can let go of that to find another level of happiness. And sometimes marijuana makes us happy, but my body has changed over the years. What the cannabis used to do to me doesn't really do that much anymore, and unfortunately, that's what happens as we age. Oh, I didn't even know that, Crystal. I didn't know. So you go to all those events and you didn't even partake in any cannabis? Well, that's awesome. I did not know that you weren't a smoker. My friend's bringing coffee. She says she's still in line. She thinks that I like need my coffee now. But my friend, there's a coffee place in town, and they literally, it's some of the most addicting coffee you ever had. And I'm a caramel macchiato fan. But who doesn't like their coffee? Who in here loves coffee as much as I do? Keep popping up that comment. And who finds happiness out of coffee? Coffeeness does make me happy, but it also causes, chemical changes in your brain that causes you to be happy. No, that's awesome. So, Crystal, you just act that fun and goofy in person without cannabis. That's awesome. Because I saw some of those videos of you dancing. It looks like you were having a great time, and I was like, oh, she's pretty high, and apparently you weren't. So that's awesome that you can go around and have that much fun without having any kind of, influences to her body. Yeah, who doesn't love a good caramel macchiato? Stoner at heart. Well, then maybe we should call you a hippie at heart, because that's more of the term. You were meant to be born in the late 60s, early 70s, weren't you? That's when I was meant to be born. I was born 50 years too late. I feel like I was like, my brain was meant to live through the late 60s and 70s, which was a very interesting time in America, a very time of change. There was a lot of bad things happening too, but that's what I always refer to as a hippie. I'm like, well, maybe I was meant to live through the 60s. The true hippie generation. But I always refer to a hippie at heart nowadays as somebody who believes in herbal medicine, somebody who believes that the government is trying to poison us and that our food is poisoning us. I think that's like the true term of a hippie today. And as it was then, the hippies did not have any trust for the government back then. So but they had their own reasons to. Vietnam War. I didn't know that you lived with her for 4 days. Where do they live? Mama Rochi and Master Rochi, where exactly do you guys live? Because I don't even think I know. Awesome, Susan. Yeah, I totally think that you could still be in the cannabis community and not smoke. There's not people out there who put pressure on you like people who drink, and then you kind of back off that drinking community. Anybody who knows about addiction knows that those people will still be calling you to come out and drink. But cannabis smokers are different. They're like, hey, come hang out, but we understand if you don't want to use it. And that's why I love cannabis users, compared to people who drink. But people who drink tend to be more troubled individuals, especially when you get into your older adult years and you're still drinking to kind of cope with life. Oh, at the Irish Fest B&B. Okay, I thought maybe there was something in between where you lived in Springfield or down by St. Louis. Oh, Indiana. Indiana is one of those states you don't really think about. It's hard to say. Ohio and Indiana literally are right next to me, with Illinois, and I don't really visit them that much. But this past winter was the first time I've actually been through Ohio and all the way through Indiana. %, and expand those too. That's why I really think that there are more people that I'm meant to meet in my life. The same with you, Ross. The same with anybody. That we're all meant to meet these people that eventually will change our lives. Whether we've met them now or we'll meet them in a couple of years, maybe in a couple of days. And that's the greatest thing of life. You never know what's going to happen. You never know who you're going to meet. Well, I didn't say it was a conspiracy, but the hippie thing, hippie people tend to believe that. Hippies are basically people of the forest, believe in all natural. Hey, Jim, what's going on? I wish I had more time to travel during the non-winter months, but working so much. But we'll find time for sure. But let's give away this happiness hashtag. And where are we at? There we go. We got 17 entries. Anybody else want to do that hashtag happiness? Go ahead. And please, again, hit that like reaction button. Let's get a few more in there. We got 13 people in the house. Anybody who hasn't hit that reaction button, please do. I appreciate it very much. All right, let's hit this hashtag giveaway. Let's see who wins it. Good luck, everybody. Allison, you're still here? Congratulations. Yep, you can still get in that hashtag too. If the person's not here, the giveaway will go. You can still enter it. We'll give it a good couple minutes because I know there's a huge delay typically. And there she is, Allison. Congratulations. If I don't have your address, please send that to me, and I'll get that surprise shipped out to you. I think we're finally caught up with all my giveaways. Yeah. And we're going to have another live tonight, live in the lab. We're going to be live in the Mushroom Lab. I haven't done an episode in there for a while. And so I hope you guys all can join me too there. And we'll be giving away some other things as well. So I'm temping every Friday or Sunday morning. We'll be doing a live, and then Sunday night, some kind of a live. It's the only time Sundays that my day's off. So what's going on, Gemini Kyle? How you doing? Congratulations to Allison for sure. All right, we have another giveaway as well for anybody And I think we can take that one down. There we go. We do have the other giveaway. Anybody who would like to share what makes them happy in the comments, you can enter in that as well, or share to a page. That is how we have 20 entries right now in that. Need to get a coffee refill real quick, but I'll take you with me. And give some people a second to do that. So again, all you have to do is tell me in the comments what makes you happy. We'll get you into this random contest for another prize to be decided. Yeah, definitely. We are approaching the farmers market season in May, so I definitely have to prepare for that, and I have to start doing live, go to my lab. My mushroom chamber has actually been shut down now for about a month and a half, 5 weeks. I have not turned it back on yet because I haven't started growing mushrooms yet. But once, probably this week, I'm going to turn it back on. Or actually, probably today. We're going to turn it back on, and we'll do another tour tonight of my whole facility downstairs and explain all the equipment, because there's, as you guys know, a lot going on to grow mushrooms. And I love my new flag in the back. I wish I would have gotten a little bigger, but that is actually Great River Mushrooms logo. A lot of people don't know that is the tree of life, and one of the reasons I chose the tree of life, because it actually looks like mycelium too. Deborah, that's the question that she'll know when she gets it, but either gonna be a crystal of some sort or maybe some medication. I always give away great prizes. It's not going to be anything it's not useful. And I think we have all those in there. We got 20 entries. Let me bring that screen up too for the wheel. The wheel. I love doing the wheel. It's so fun. But we have all these names in here. Anybody who shared. Some of you guys are in here twice for sharing and commenting. I appreciate it. But we got 11 people in the house. Again, please, if you're just in here, hit that reaction button. We're not going to be live too much longer today. Happiness is one of those subjects we don't need to spend a lot of time on, but definitely some interesting and good facts and information that I shared in that video. Prizes are always good. All right, I think we have everybody in there we want to, so let's hit the spin button, shuffle it. And I don't remember how to add more time to it. I don't know if you can. I don't see it. All right, well, anybody else want to get in there? I don't think we have. All righty. Good luck, everybody. Oh. Spin it. Who's it gonna be? Can't even see it. It's gonna be. Didn't Allison just win? All right. I thought we were gonna have the same winner again. It still could be. Lisa Robinson. Lisa, you're still here. There she is. Well, you just said good morning. I don't think you even meant to know that you won yet. Congratulations, Lisa. Got your name written down. And again, that's for another random prize. I'm not sure what it's going to be yet, but it's going to be a good one. And thank you guys for sharing and commenting as well. What makes you happy? I appreciate you guys joining me. And again, next week, we've got a good podcast with Rasta. Let me bring that down. With Rasta Rhino and Joshua White. I hope you guys can join us. That'll be at 9:15 next week. I'm sure we'll probably go a full 2 hours because Rasta and Josh have a lot of useful information that I think we'll all go through, and we'll talk about the science of addiction and play some cool videos about how hopefully teach you something about it. And then again, the week after that, we have Inner Child and Emotions with Cheyenne. So again, thank you guys all for joining me. Thank you guys for teaching or sharing your stories of what makes you happy. And I hope you guys go out there and make something of the day. Make yourself happy. I'm here every Sunday, Jim. Besides holidays, I think Memorial Day. We get more into the summer. It'll probably be every other weekend or somewhere similar to that because there is a lot going on. And I go to the Ozarks a lot with my brother. So those weekends we probably won't have lives, but yeah, pretty much every Sunday, Jim. Lisa, they're always on replay. I know you can't. It sucks you can't watch it live on replay, but I appreciate you joining me anyway. That's good to see you going back to glass blowing, Jim. And I know you said you took off from it, and so sometimes you just have to back off your hobbies to find happiness. But I'm glad you're back to it. Hopefully things are getting back in the groove of life. I appreciate you, Lisa. Always appreciate you joining me. And again, tonight, I didn't mention live in the lab. We'll be going over everything mushroom related, talking about the new season that's coming. May's coming fast. We'll be here before we know it, and we'll be selling mushrooms at the market. But again, thank you guys for joining me. Something else I needed to say, maybe. I think that's it. Again, thank you guys for joining me. And as always, do not forget to love yourself. It is the most important thing you can do. I will see you guys later, and you guys have a great day.
Wandering on the beach. The ocean sprays. The birds speak. We look inside and rise in peace. Eyes open to realize hope as we walk in beauty wherever the path leads. Creator is guiding me on this journey. That's all I need. Warmth beneath my feet as I look into the skies. Tears fill my eyes, and love fills my mind. The drum sounding so astounding, heart pounding with relief. Ears open to catch the lessons, 5 fingers counting my blessings. I believe with time and effort we can achieve.